In many ways, THC, the psychoactive cannabinoid in the plant, has been the most famous one, but CBD is really helping lead the way, both medicinally and mainstreaming cannabis in general. So the next panel is on CBD in Europe and beyond. I'm introducing the moderator, and she'll take it from there. We call her a living legend. She's had plenty of experience in the cannabis space. She's now one of the top consultants for cannabis businesses in LA and California in general. While she's here, she's multitasking, pulling off major deals with like Damian Marley and Amoeba Records, starting their dispensary called High Fidelity. Please give a warm welcome for Ms. Mary Patton.
And stay tuned. This panel is on CBD in Europe and beyond. My name is Mary Patton. As Anthony mentioned, I'm a cannabis industry consultant, but a very long-time activist. I call my company Newtopia because, like you, I always believed that a legal cannabis marketplace would make the world a better place. But today I am joined by a very esteemed panel of industry experts who are going to tell you all about cannabidiol, the industry that's an exploding sector. I was looking at some of the statistics recently, and back in 2010, Jared, do you remember? Mm-hmm. We were trying to get the CBD industry off to a start, and everybody thought we were completely crazy. But now I was looking at statistics, and by some industry experts are anticipating that this is going to be a $3 billion industry just in the CBD sector alone by 2021. So with that being said, I want to start by hearing some of your observations. No, actually, I'm going to start going down the line. Tell me a little bit about who you are, what you're doing in the industry, and specifically what you're doing with CBD.
First, I want to, auf Deutsch, ich wollte sagen, dass es eine Ehre ist für mich, hier zu sein, und ich will mich bedanken bei ICBC und Alex. Ich bin wirklich beeindruckt. Die Qualität von dieser Konferenz ist wunderbar, und ich habe viele Leute kennengelernt, und ich bin wirklich froh, hier zu sein. So, ich wollte das sagen, und am Ende, falls irgendjemand eine Frage auf Deutsch für mich stellen möchte, ist das ganz okay, aber ich würde gerne auf Englisch der Rest sagen. So, I'm Jamie Pearson. I'm with Bang Corporation. We're one of the larger brands in the United States. We have a presence in California, Washington, New Mexico, Illinois, Florida, Puerto Rico, Uruguay. I could go on. And what I do is I'm in charge of global operations. We are here to connect with Europe, and specifically to bring our finished CBD goods to Europe. We have full spectrum CBD and CBD isolate products in the form of gourmet chocolate, in vapes, in gum, mouth sprays, a whole array of products. And we sell them to the Großhandel, so we're more of a wholesaler rather than a retailer. And that's what I'm here for, is to connect with people from the EU who are looking for finished CBD goods, but we also import bulk CBD. So that's what I'm doing here.
Thank you. Excellent.
My name is Jared Berry, and actually Bang was the first sale we made of CBD. It was $1 million sale in 2011. And this is, again, when Mary said people thought we were crazy, that was a big leap for the owner of Bang to take. People thought, why would anybody want CBD? It doesn't even get you high. And I remember every investor meeting we went to, that was the first thing they'd say. But look at it now, and it really is incredible, not only the industry and how it's booming and the amount of people that are getting into the industry and able to make a good living and then do something that's exciting, because it really does make a difference in people's lives. We see it every day with testimonials coming in on humans and animals. And my story starts back in 2009 with a company called Cannabis, and we did a reverse merger with Medical Marijuana Inc. It was there that I discovered that CBD may be an incredible molecule just through some patents that the United States Health Department had pulled. And so I left there and started a company called Biosynthesis Pharma Group, BSPG, which is actually here in the UK. It's in Europe, and we do extraction, and we were the first to industrialize the isolate in a purified manner that was pharmaceutical grade and bring it into the marketplace there in the United States and now globally. I started a company from there where we were taking the isolate and turning it into end consumer brands called Isodial. And we just went public in 2017. It's now a $400 million company that focuses solely on CBD and CBD products. And then in the midst of that, we also started a company called CBD Naturals. And that company takes the cannabidiol and then uses technologies like nano emulsification and amplification to be able to put it into water and reduce the amount needed and increase the effect. So now I'm focused 100% on that company. And in Europe, we're trying to find partners that we can manufacture with here locally so that our products and our product brands can be produced here and then distributed throughout the country.
Yeah, hello. My name is Emanuel Kotzian. I'm in this industry now for nearly 20 years. We began with something totally different with media because nobody was talking about the benefits of cannabis itself. So we founded a newspaper for consumers and for non-consumers to bring out the information about the wonderful benefits of cannabis itself. And I'm a happy guy because we did a lot of projects last 20 years. And one of the projects we started 2 years ago was not our invention. We have a look on US and have seen what's going on there, and we discovered this CBD market can be a reality in Europe as well. Mm-hmm. Why not? And we started to figure out could this be legal in Germany? And we found out yes. So let's do it. It's really a pleasure to really work with a product. We love to work with a product. We love organic farming. We love to transfer the product itself, the more we can of the plant, to the people who need it and who want to use it. And we are way, of course, to a total legalization in Germany as well. But let's say one of the stepstones is definitely the CBD market. And so we are happy. We began 2 years ago, and I'm happy also about today. Mm-hmm. For example, because the CBD future is happening just now on the ICBC here. We
Mm-hmm.
meet here. The bank company has a new distributor here in Germany. Mm-hmm. And I'm very happy about this future to happen now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, this is really exciting because, when Jared, you started biosynthesis and did your first sale to Bang, mm-hmm. What was that, 2011? Mm-hmm. So it's 2018, in 7 years. We've just seen a massive explosion of this industry, and it's gone not just around the U.S., but worldwide. So I want to get some of your observations and find out from you, what's changed since you started this industry? It's been 7 years, a lot has happened. So give me a sense of how things have changed. What are some of the trends that you've seen, and what are some of the key market drivers that are really, influencing this massive growth? Anyone want to speak to that? You can I'll jump in whenever you have something you want to say.
One of the biggest changes is the price per kilo.
Yeah, right.
I think it was like $60,000 US, and now it's under 10, in a lot of places. But that's definitely been a big change. And so it's great too because it's easy to access from the patient side point of view. They're able to take higher doses. They're able to make it more affordable. And I think some of the trends are really. We like to look at CBD, almost kind of like sugar. If you look at Coca-Cola, they branded sugar. Mm. But you can run into any store and grab a sugar packet and run out. You don't think you're stealing something. It's not that exciting. Yeah. But, it's branded so well in Coca-Cola, and you look at how big that company is, we think that the real future is going to be in the end consumer brands and those that do a good job with their branding, and then their way of taking the product and making it work even better than if it was just taken in an oil format. So adding value adds like that in the term of a delivery process.
I think one of the big observations that I've made is that the CBD market has been the entree for a lot of people into the THC market. So I'll use my own mother as an example. She had a hip replacement. She was clean and sober, would not touch marijuana for pain. and the opiates were not helping her. And I said, Mom, just try this, it'll help you, and it did. Anecdotally, so I have that story personally, but what I'm saying is there's a lot of fear still around using cannabis. There's a stigma around it, and that's the next wave of what's happening. We've reached the tipping point in the United States, absolutely, and the tipping point's coming around the world, but CBD products are a safe way, safe from people who are afraid of getting high. It's a gateway into people having a comfort level with this miracle plant that is really benefiting people from anxiety and depression and pain and epilepsy. It's helped so many things. So we're really seeing CBD make a difference in people's lives, but also helping the cannabis industry. So anyway, I'm seeing that trend where some of the battling between the cannabis people and the CBD people is going away because they're seeing us as being a huge benefit.
I really must add exactly this point, the stigmata. Still, it has not changed, and I have to add, my own mother refused a CBD product some months ago. Even she's using morphine in the same minute.
It's crazy.
And even I'm working on this for many years. I could not persuade her. That's so how to express it's no success. It's really like losing something. On the other side, I see in our CBD shop, where we see the customers, we have new customers, older one. The females are coming, even they buying for the husband, but ladies, 70, 80 years old. When we go to, for example, we have been in Warsaw, people with young children in the buggy came by and asked how much CBD I have to use for this and this disease. And the drama is I cannot tell about it because in Germany, if I'm not a pharmacologist or a doctor, I'm not allowed to tell about any consequences of taking a substance.
Right.
Better not.
Right. I think the other trend I'm seeing is banking is changing. We talked about this when we were getting ready for the panel. Credit card processing is the biggest issue. And we're starting to see that loosen up where banking and credit card companies are starting to understand that in the EU, for example, you have to have less than 2% THC for your product to be legal if it's hemp-derived. In the US, it's less than 3% THC. What the banking companies are understanding is, okay, this is not marijuana, so this isn't the federally scheduled drug. We might be able to let these companies have credit card processing. So I know you have credit card processing, and I'm in the process of getting it. It's more expensive, but it's full disclosure. We're not hiding anything. And that's another entree into the world, so to speak.
Well, one of the things that might help, and we just executed an exclusive with our partner now called Immunag, and in India, they went in the jungle and found feral cannabis growing with humulus plants, hops plants, and started to do tests on all these hops plants and found some with THC, and then they found some with CBD only. And they then started to grow that in a greenhouse, and now, years later, we have pure, oil form, isolate form. It comes with beta-carothylene and humulene. And when we go to the bank with the humulus-based CBD, or like Facebook, for instance, who's closed down any advertising capability for CBD companies and hemp companies, the doors open back up when it's hops-based. So,
will you explain a little bit about the humulus CBD and what that is for people who might not be familiar? Sure.
So, cannabidiol is cannabidiol. If you've gotten it from marijuana or hemp. And in America, there's been an interesting bit of a war between the marijuana companies and then so-called hemp companies, and people were saying marijuana-based CBD is better than hemp-based CBD, and none of that makes any sense. I mean, it's
CBD.
CBD is CBD. So if you can find it in another plant, it's also the same thing. And in humulus, which is the technical name for hops, the doctor that we work with hates it when we call it hops, even though it is hops, because there's so many varieties of hops. And the stuff that they use for beer doesn't yield CBD. But this is humulus, and it's not hemp. And we are able to extract now in a large, massive way the same thing that we've been talking about, with cannabis, hemp, the CBD that we're extracting is the same. And what we really have found, which I think is a new thing for the future, everybody may have heard of the entourage effect. Have you heard of full spectrum entourage effect? There's like 500 ingredients in this, and so there's so many things that could be helping or even hurting. What we've found is that beta-carotene, which is a terpene, it's also now called a dietary cannabinoid because it's in our diets. I mean, it's in black pepper, it's in eucalyptus. With the beta-carotene mixed with the CBD, the CB2 receptor is able to do its job even better because it's a modulator between the immune system and the nervous system, and that's why we see it affect so many things so positively. It increases that communication. Well, CBD is actually a blocker to things that block the CB2 receptor. So something that's blocking its ability, that CBD goes in and defends that and stops that blocker. But beta-carotene accentuates it. And when you combine them, I've been working with CBD so long and I've seen how great it works, but there's just been a little bit of like, I kind of wished it was going to be a miracle,
Right.
And it is now. I mean, when you combine it with beta-carotene, we've seen the best at, if you have 100 milligrams of CBD, 60 milligrams of beta-carotene, so 6 to 10, so to speak there, 6 milligrams to 10 milligrams is an incredible combination, and the entourage effect is unbelievable. It's something you should definitely try.
Well, it's like when I'm listening to him and I'm learning something new, I'm thinking, okay, the next leap then is educating the customer, because you're going to have your population understand what he just said and why they want to buy that particular product. And I think what's happening is there is a lot of people going out now and seeking that education. So there's another opportunity for people, like Emmy, who are providing the information through their media outlets and things. And that's what I feel like when I heard Henry speak on the first day and the panels throughout the day, is that what's incumbent upon us in this room is to start educating, because we have reached the tipping point and it's time to come out of the closet and say, hey, I'm a cannabis user, I'm a cannabis business person, and the next tipping point is everybody coming out of the closet and saying, this is an industry. So I love coming to these things and learning something new. I'm in the CBD world, and I'm like, wow, he just blew my mind. It's awesome.
Well, who blew my mind was actually Mary Patton in 2010. She says, in Ireland, and I don't know if this is actually true, I never looked it up, but I'm hoping it is. She said in Ireland there was this outbreak of something called scurvy.
No.
And it was not really a disease.
That wasn't what
it was because of the vitamin C deficiency. And so really, she said, if you look at vitamin C, it's a nutritional necessity that we have to have. Otherwise, bad things happen. And she goes, I believe that phytocannabinoids are a nutritional necessity that we haven't had in our diet for a very long time because of it being banned. Whereas when you look before the 1930s, it grew wild on 7 continents. Animals ate it. It was in our bodies through ways of other animals eating it and us eating it, and now it hasn't been. And you can look at the neurological diseases and the things that have just, increased. Alzheimer's, ADHD, dementia.
And so that gets to the point then, when we're talking about how patients or, even if you're not a patient, access product. CBD is sold sometimes in pharmaceutical outlets, sometimes in lifestyle outlets. Where are your customers accessing your products most often? And, are you able to get it into the pharmacies here in Germany, for example, right now? So I'd like to hear a little bit more about your target markets and how they're accessing your products.
I'm very happy about this question because it's really connected to what you just told. You made something wonderful for me. You made some recommendation how to use it, which I'm not allowed to do.
Right.
Because it could be against the competition law. It has nothing to do with CBD, but with the pharmaceutical competition law. Mm-hmm. So that's one of our problems. Even I have some information, I cannot forward it really one-to-one to my customer. Mm-hmm. This is really a problem. Mm-hmm. And this is a goal for everybody who is in this industry, and patients, doctors, dispensaries, whoever, to multiply the information. In this moment, when I'm on a fair, and the client is asking me really the core questions, I cannot tell him honestly more than have a look on the American pages. They can talk about it. Yeah, it's a little bit crazy, but what to say? I'm not really allowed to explain it.
Your slogan should be Google it.
Yes, of course. Yeah, but I know exactly because you have now like a very big market, and you're doing some research, and there is some evidence, and you have some recommendations, and you are there's the information which we need here, but we are not allowed to talk really open about it, or not when you want to make really the sales in a legal way. You asked me about the distribution points. I'm very happy because this changes a lot. Last year on the ICBC we have been discussing about is CBD legal globally in Germany? Can we sell it or not? We answered that question, yes, we already sold. Now it's evident, but there are many distribution ways, so we are mainly selling in this moment to our core clients, which are mostly grow shops, head shops, smart shops, but that's not our goal. Our goal is, of course, to be in the middle of the society. We are attending to ecological shops, to organ farming shops, and what is, of course, like the crown of the business in this point are the pharmacies. It is not easy, but it's possible to receive like a pharmaceutical number, and I'm also happy to announce today from the 1st of May we have an official product in cooperation with our partner from Poland, which is making really great CBD. Thank you to Jacek if you are here, and thanks to Hempoland from Poland. Really good stuff, and we got registered this for the pharmacies with a real pharmaceutical number, and as a food supplement, so you can buy it without any prescription.
Wow! Congratulations.
Our biggest, very similar to what Emmy said, we have dispensaries in the U.S., head shops, vape shops, e-cigarette shops are big on carrying CBD. We have a lot of lifestyle shops, so we have a lot of people from yoga retreats and places that are wellness oriented contact us. And then, of course, we have our bulk CBD buyers that I would say make up a good 50% of our business. So that's where we're selling.
We've had a challenge in the U.S. As well for the legal compliancy side of things. You have the DEA there, which is going to be really enforcing the drug control and whether or not this is a scheduled drug. And then you have the FDA, which is the Food and Drug Administration, who is really governing more the labeling and the claiming, which would be kind of what you're talking about in terms of making a claim or talking about it in a way that you can't. And so, with the attorneys and the legal expenses and the amount of money that's been put into that, there's been some interesting things that have happened along the way. I think maybe it'd be good to share really quick. And we've found ways of labeling instead of putting CBD or cannabidiol on the label, calling it out as an ingredient. It's a chemical name. Hemp oil is really what it is when you take it from hemp and you haven't derived it synthetically. It reminds me of something, and you probably have something similar here because most things are always the same, just worded differently, but we have a Prop 65 in California. It's anything that's known to cause cancer. If there is something added to a product and it is on the Prop 65 list, you have to label a Prop 65 warning on the bottle that it's in. And an example was myrcene, because myrcene's on that list, which is a terpene. It's actually a terpene that's in cannabis and in hops and in mangoes. So if you put myrcene in a product and you put myrcene in the ingredients list, you'd have to put that warning. However, if you were to take mangoes and extract myrcene from it, in fact, you were to just keep extracting and throwing away everything except for just that myrcene until the point where it was 99% myrcene, and then put on the ingredients list mango extract, because it still is. You can do that, and you wouldn't be having to put a Prop 65 warning on there. So think of that when you think of hemp oil and extracting CBD from hemp, and then using hemp oil in the ingredients list, and then find clever ways of putting CBD on there, like cash before delivery. No, I'm just kidding. But CBD, There's a lot of CB different. It's vitamin C, vitamin B12, and D3. Vitamin CBD. There's things you can do when you're talking about a lifestyle brand, because there's going to be the pharmaceutical clinical trial, dosage testing route, which you'll have, and it's very expensive, but it's worth going into, and you can do those trials. You can do that now. You can get into an OTC, like over-the-counter, situation like you have. And then there's the lifestyle brands, but those brands are going to be scrutinized based on these claims and labels. I think you should be smart when you label those things so you don't have to take them off the shelf at some point.
As a practical point of what he's talking about, we put all of our products on eBay, our hemp-derived CBD products, and we did a little experiment, and we had them listed all with CBD, and then we had them all listed with hemp oil. All the CBDs got shut down. eBay took them off their site. All of our hemp oil products remained. So that's an example of being smart about your labeling.
So labeling is a big challenge because there's so much that you can't say about your product, and then there's obviously restrictions and rules, and it's really confusing for the consumer.
But you know what you can say? Phytocannabinoids.
Yes.
There's phytocannabinoids. Lots of things are considered a phytocannabinoid.
A lot of the consumers don't know what those are, though.
Right. So there's
True.
this education process that needs to happen, especially if you're a brand, right? So we have a few minutes. I want to open up for some questions. Does anyone have any questions?
There's one back there.
Yes? All right.
Is there a mic? Speak loud, maybe?
Check. Give it up for our CBD panel. That was really nice, you guys. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
So hi, thanks for the great podium. So looking at the European market from your point of view, would you enter the market with all your products, or would you go for a certain category first? How would you approach it?
Who'd you direct your question to?
To all of you, really.
Oh, okay.
Bang, definitely, and...
Did you say the UK market specifically?
No, the European as a whole. Thank you.
I think all of our products would be, and I'm not just saying that because I'm representing the brand, but I think because they're hemp derived and we have had success with them in the US because the delivery methods are discreet, meaning that you can put a pack of hemp gum in your purse and you don't have to roll a joint. There's a lot of ways, especially too if you're having health issues, to be able to eat a chocolate bar if you can't smoke is a great way to get some of your dosing. So they all provide a different delivery method, and I think they're all relevant in this market.
We've had some distributors, larger distributors already. They're in the marketplace, in some in Switzerland, here in Germany, in UK, and they've been really focusing, number one, just the category, and I don't know exactly why, but I'm going to guess because there's already a marketplace for it, but that's the whole vape sector. So it seems to be that there's a lot of head shops, and vaping is very popular. So having some great delivery systems, maybe even some metered dose vaping solutions that tell you a dosage amount on some app or those type of things, where they're disposable ones like that, and ones that aren't, I think would be something to have as a low-hanging fruit. And then we've gotten a huge flux of interest in beverages. So there's like an emulsification process with other ingredients combined with it. From water to energy drinks to lemonades and teas and coffees has been a big interest. And then gummies. And I would assume for all ages, but there's been a lot of interest in gummies.
Yeah, you ask about Europe. That's one of the problems. We have 27 countries just in the European Union, plus Switzerland, and plus another lot of markets around, which I would also call European. And it's mission impossible to tell you the rules in each country. Just at the breakfast time, I had a discussion with a Swiss guy. We have very similar system, speaking nearly the same language, and still I would ask a lawyer before, before doing it exactly. So I know exactly your question. You have really to, from my side, to focus might be on some products which are looking more serious, because there is, for example, in Germany, not a law forbidding you to sell isolates, but some of the isolates are looking, please forgive me, but some of the isolates are looking like crystal meth. And in some areas of Germany, it might cause a visit of the police.
I got taken to jail because they thought it was crystal meth. You would not even believe it.
And so better take the products which are looking might be more serious, more the way my grandma also would love it, and then make your experience with European bureaucracy. Because in each country it's different. Even in Germany we have 16 states, so it's another game in Berlin. It's another game in Bavaria. Don't try to cover all Europe at once. It's not possible. It's too many languages, too many translations, too many labels which are different. Concentrate might be first on the big markets, or might be on the logical markets. I mean, Holland is a wonderful country to come in. They are quite liberal, but also they have their own laws about many things. They have regulations since they begin to open the first coffee shop. So you have to take care about many aspects.
Can I ask a question? Do you mind? In the U.S. with the FDA, you can make a product, and then you can put it on the shelves and hope that you've done it right based upon the guidelines that are presented, and you just got to make sure that you've done a good job. But you can legally put it out and sell it and distribute it. Is it different in Europe? In Europe, do you have to get a registration prior to getting products distributed on shelves?
The risk is on your side, and you have to take care about the risk is on the side of the person who is the first one to buy from out of European Union. This person overtakes the responsibility, this product is good. He can put it into his shelf without registration, but overtakes the responsibility if something is wrong. So I recommend, if you have any possibility to register your product as water supplement or whatever, do it, because better you have a classification for it, you have a text number, you have all the accountancy done, and afterwards you don't have any unanswered question when a prosecutor might cross your way. It's very simple.
Thank you. Okay, we have time for one more.
Thank you so much for introducing us into the world of CBD. You mentioned the qualities of CBD for the holistic aspect of the plant. So I am really interested to get to know, how do you see the potential of the CBD discussion, starting maybe from the US on a worldly level, to break the stigmata of marijuana, cannabis, and what do you see disconnect, which responsibility comes within?
I think first, it begs the natural question when you're talking about the difference between hemp-derived and cannabis or marijuana-derived CBD. Most people don't even realize it's the same plant, but a different plant. And all of a sudden the education process starts, and people go, oh, I buy hemp t-shirts and those are allowed, and I buy hemp seeds at Costco or Aldi, and that's allowed. So this is hemp, and then they start making the connections, and I think that's really what is happening, is at that basic core level with people who know nothing. It gives them a comfort level to start having a conversation about marijuana. So I think that's where it starts, in my opinion.
I think too, it's going to start changing even more. You look at vitamin B12. I mean, right now, from what I'm learning, is that you can only really get that from red meat or synthetically made. Is that right? It's very difficult.
Things, I think,
but even vegans are having a deficiency in vitamin B12. Right. So for a long time, I think CBD has been associated with just cannabis, and now we're able to extract it from hops. So it shouldn't really be just a cannabis thing. When you consume CBD, to say I consume cannabis, I guess that's true, but it's also, you're consuming a phytocannabinoid that's available in other species of plants that don't have that stigma. So I'm not sure if CBD should have that stigma when it's non-psychoactive. There's no way to really overdose on it. There's no risk of abuse. It shouldn't come with the stigma that THC has given.
Really, I've always felt that what it's doing is it's providing an entry point to start educating the consumer on the endocannabinoid system in general. It's an easy topic for people to start to learn how the endocannabinoid system works. Mm-hmm. So once they get comfortable with CBD from hemp and realize that this is helping them regulate pain or inflammation or their immune response in some kind of way, then it's a natural progression to be less afraid to try THC for people who might have had an issue with it. So I think that's one of the ways you can break down the stigma. You know, we found out that we have this system, that all living creatures have this system, and that these plants also provide something that we need for, you know, that system to operate optimally.
And just one last note, you know, THCA, which is how the plant produces it naturally when it's fresh off the bud, is non-psychoactive also, right? Right. It's not until you heat it or decarboxylate it that the THCA turns into THC, and the A leaves and becomes psychoactive. So as a fresh plant, the whole thing could be ingested or juiced and be non-psychoactive.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's fantastic. Well, thank you all for coming and for this.
Thank you all very, very much. Let's hear it again for our fantastic. That was a wonderful panel. I can't wait to start mixing CBD in my beer.